isn't he? The guy's like 12, right? All right. Joomla hasn't forked from Mambo yet, but Mambo doesn't even have a stable point release yet. Right? Movable type is actually out in the hot sexiness. Clone isn't out yet. Typo 3 is out, and there's a number of Perl-based flat file systems that are out there. PHP Nuke had just come out. .NET Nuke comes out a little bit later when the ASP guys go, wait, we want to get in on this too. So, this is what it looks like. So what? This is the big question. Why are we even talking about Drupal 3? Dries had this slide. He's like, hey, back in the day, there was one happy guy. It was me. The Drupal 3 code contributors is like 10 people at most. We're now at nearly 1,000, right? And that's just code contributors. We're not talking about documentation folks. We're not talking about trainers. We're not talking about designers. And we're going to talk about them a little bit. That's a big deal. The other thing that's a big deal is I went back and checked the logs of Drupal.org. At the time that Drupal 3 is released, there are 2,000 or so registered users on Drupal.org. We now have over 500,000. Okay? So the target audience and the, what was the word he used today? The ecosystem that Drupal came out of is long gone, right? And I think that's really, really critical. To give you an example, this is one of the Drupalcons I did not go to. This is Brussels 2006. You'll notice how small the photo is, and we can actually spot people you can recognize. There's Chase, there's Dries right there, hey! This is DC just 2 years ago, right? This is the last time we could all fit in one frame. Hey, there I am, I'm in the front row, yay! And, oh yeah, isn't that Robert Douglas's beard? Yeah. So think about that for a minute, right? When Dries was talking this morning about changing the way he does development, right? That's a huge response to this kind of problem. So these are some of the issues that are facing Drupal as we move forward right now. Right? Especially if you're new to the community, there's some real pain points. That slide that he showed, he's very proud of, and he should be, the US House of Representatives using Drupal, right? You know, we've changed our password hashing and ripped out all instances of MD5 and Drupal core just for that project. You know why we released Drupal 7 the day we did? Because that's the day the freshman congressmen were sworn in. Yeah, big elephant in the room, changed the way the community operates a little bit. That makes people a little bit nervous. So these are some of the issues that we're talking about. And you can actually see some of this stuff in Drupal 3. So, show us the damn demo, okay. Originally I was not even gonna do a demo, and then I asked Dries and Robert Douglas, and they're like, why would you not show a demo? People wanna see the Drupal 3. So, this is Drupal 3, it's running on my laptop, it's actually running quite nicely. The first thing that I will point out about it, that this is, what's the name of this theme? This is Marvin. Marvin was in Drupal core until Drupal 7. It finally got ripped out and shot in the head. The first thing that I will point out here is that the menus across the top are not configurable. That's what you get. The other thing that I think is really, really interesting is that while blogs are configurable, or blocks are configurable per user, most blocks only appear on the front page for some reason, and I don't know what that reason is. But there are things that look pretty normal. Hey, read more. We still have that kind of text. You know, we can go and look at my account, and your account page will look, well, kind of similar. You can look at my information. Look at my settings, I can change my theme, I can change my time zone. There's language selection. Drupal out of the box is multilingual in 3. And I asked Dries this yesterday, I said, you're Dutch speaker, you're in Belgium, all your friends are native Dutch speakers. Why is drop.org in English? And he looked at me like I had grown another head. He said, well, it's a website. Most websites are in English. That was his answer. And I said to him, you know what, if an American in 2001 had invented Drupal, there would be no multilingual capabilities in it, because it wouldn't occur to us that it was important. Okay? So I want to point that out. When he shows the map of the 182 countries and languages and all that, that's from day one, pretty much. And that's really fascinating. So a couple of other things you'll see that are pretty normal, like the forum actually looks very similar to the way the forum does today. I know. Site Cloud is kind of interesting. It's not updated because I've been offline for a while. Site Cloud was literally just a little module that went in and said, hey, has website X updated its front page recently? I don't know what it's for. CVS messages I don't have hooked up, but the assumption was that you were committing changes to CVS. You could view the logs here. This was actually on Drupal.org until 2 weeks ago. Right, the old CVS path on Drupal.org. News feeds, it wasn't called aggregator, it was called the import module, but it's exactly what it is today, and it has a lot of the same deficiencies and problems. Sorry? The blogget was actually in Drupal, I think it left in 4.7. It was an old feature that survived for a long time. Any blog post, if you're a registered user and logged in, you could click it and it would excerpt it and, hey, I'm going to respond to that other blog post. Okay. One of the interesting things, and since I'm here, I'll show you. Now, this is kind of interesting. The preview button, any UX people in the house? I hope there are some. The preview button's in the wrong damn place, right? It's in the way. I think part of that actually is because the buttons are in order in which you're supposed to use them. You should preview first, then you should submit, which is a little bit strange. When I submit this, actually, I think it does go live immediately because I've configured it to, but most things actually go into a queue. Most content immediately goes into a queue, and it's a very /corrosion model of, well, things that are important will get moderated and voted on the computer. Remember the old moderate stuff? And queue module, which was in core until I think 4.7 or 5. Right? That's all baked into the philosophy here. Excuse me. So I will show you very, very quickly the backend. Ooh, it's an admin theme. I don't like that, isn't that great? Now, this will shock you, or maybe it won't. This is the roles and permission settings. Thank you very much. That contributor role is something that I made while I was testing. It did ship with just 2 roles, anonymous and authenticated. I'll show you something else you're going to find very, very familiar. This is the blocks configuration screen. There are a couple of things missing here, but that's fine. You can still make a book, and the book module functionality is actually identical to Drupal 7's book module functionality. Boxes are custom blocks. You can make, you want to make a new block, we'll make a new block. Site Cloud stuff we looked at, like news feeds are there. Help is there. In a lot of cases, it's missing, but it's there. Locales are there. And there's a really, really, really crazy thing we'll look at a bit later about managing multilingual content, which is really, really complicated. And I actually posted this in response to someone's Drupal 8 battle plan where he said, I'm going to put SEO meta tags in Drupal core because it's really important. And I think he's wrong. I also point out that they were in Drupal core and we ripped them out in Drupal 4. There was a meta tags module. It's kind of weird and I'm not going to get into how it actually works. This will amuse you as well. For those of you who've been around Drupal for a while, this is the watchdog. One thing to notice, it's not paginated and you can't table sort it. It's kind of bad. And then this screen is also great. This is settings and filters, right?